Hi there, Remco here, back with another video, and today I'll be talking to you about this deck, or actually a smaller version of this deck, but I'm showing this box, the Clow-Cards. They look like this. Have a purple backing and they're huge. If you compare them to a regular Llewellyn deck, they're almost as same width and a lot taller. Get that out of the way. So, the Clow-Cards. What are Clow-Cards? Because we all know tarot cards, Lenormand cards, regular playing cards, oracle cards. These are sort of oracle cards. They originate from a Japanese series, manga anime series, and much like what are they called? Pokemon. In Pokemon you have all kinds of animals, creatures. You have to catch, or some people catch them with the ball. These creatures or things are caught in cards. So that's why we've got Clow-Cards. In the series there are a few magicians who can capture the cards, and the anime series is called Capture Card Sakura. I'm gonna read that off my laptop right now because I don't know that by heart. And the sorcerer who does all the capturing is Clow Reed, and he's I used to have this deck, and then I saw a small deck, very pretty deck, on Instagram, and I decided to buy it, and I showed it in my haul video, recent haul video, and I thought I'd do a walkthrough because these are the other cards. Look at them. Way smaller and way easier to handle. If you look at this is a playing card. Where's my Llewellyn? Okay. See, they're quite a bit smaller than a Llewellyn card. Almost bridge or poker size. I don't know the difference between them. And these are the cards I will be talking about. So, I'll pen you down to show you the cards. So, these are the cards I'll be talking about and showing you. As you can see, I put them in 7 piles, and I will explain why I did that. The cards, I'll turn these around for just a second. The cards are divided in 2 sections. One on the left side, one on the right side. And those represent solar and lunar energy. So on the right side you've got the solar cards. Left side you've got the lunar cards. So there are 2 guardians, one of the sun and one of the moon. And the sun guardian guards these cards. Then there are 2 other piles here. You've got the light and you've got the dark. Literally, the card is called the light, and it's a woman holding the sun, and the dark, and that's a woman holding a crescent moon. You can't hardly see it, it's in the lower corner here, and a star. So these are 2 sisters, twins, sun, of the light and the dark. Okay. There are 4 other piles, and those are the fiery, the earthy, the watery, and the windy. Those are basically your elements. So fire, earth, water, and air, or wind as it's called here. And on the sun side and the light side, there are these 2 cards, the fiery and the earthy. Try to keep them steady for a second. And on the other side, it's the moon side, there are the watery and the windy. As you can see, the cards are, except for this card, are a little bit of a dirty grayish brown vintage color on the back. They've got the title of the card in a small bar, the Japanese title at the top, and they've got the image, a line image, line drawing. And most of the drawings have a humanoid, a person on them, either holding an object or representing an element or angel or something like that. And then there are cards with animals on them and cards with just objects on them. And they're divided in all these piles. They all have different colors, and I think they really look stunning. I really like the way the images are portrayed, because I can show you the bigger Clow-Cards. These were the ones. I'll just look at this is the fiery, so that's the one at the top right here. Put them next to each other. And I'll check the watery. So that's a merman of some sort. It's the same as this one. I hope the camera does it justice. And we've got the light, and let me look for the dark in this one. Of course, it's probably the bottom card. There. Because here you can see the sun and the objects they're holding. You can see them even better. The moon and the sun. And to me, they feel like some sort of guardian of their elements in a way. So what I'll do now is I've explained the 6 suits. There are 2 other cards. And it makes a total of 52 cards, just like a deck of playing cards. And the elemental piles have 9 cards. So they've got the elemental and 8 other cards. The light and the dark have 7 cards, 8 cards, the light card, and 7 cards below those. And then there are 2 extra cards. One is called the Nothing, and it shows a sad girl with a void. Here it's totally blanked out, there's nothing there. Almost like it's scratched away. And she's sad, she doesn't have anything, she has nothing. But there's another card, and that's not in an actual card. But in the series there was another card, and that's the unnamed card, and it shows a heart, and that transforms the nothing into hope. She gets the void is being filled by probably love, or the energies of love that bring forth hope. So those are those two cards. And you can see she's got a way more pleasant smile on her face than she did before. Oh, wait a second. It's the same girl but transformed. Those are two cards that don't fall under either of the suits, or the suits. So that's why I kept them aside. And I'll do a close-up, zoom in, and show you the piles. So this is the light card, and what can I tell about the light? I'm currently also working on a little book to show me all the cards, a little white book kind of thing, because there are no real books to be found. The only information I found was on the internet, and I've got two websites which I will link below that go through all the cards, and I made myself a little white book. So the personality of the light card is a serene and gentle one. The light is very close to her sister, the dark, which I will show for comparison. And nearly everything that is done involving them, they do together. So the light and the dark, they sound like a dual or a separate thing, but actually they're intertwined and linked together. And I really like that thought. The card has a magical ability. It's the light's primary magic is to be able to create and control light. She can also bring forth the sunrise. So those are the things I got from one website, and then another website that has a sort of online flip-through book that has a sort of title on it, and it says, "Lead everything yourself, your prospect for the distant future." So it's a card about activity, taking control, and in a few sentences below it says, "It's possible to obtain a bright future by doing your very best. Rush into action without fearing failure." So it's a very active energy, a very creative card. And all the cards below that will relate to that theme. So we've got the big. And the big is a card that can enlarge anything. So that can come in very handy, because if you, for instance, combine cards, the light and the big, you get a bigger light. Still have to figure out exactly how to work with those, but if you see them in a Lenormand kind of way, that will work that way. Then there's the create. That's represented by a book. And in the series, the book was empty, and you can fill it with, if you got inspiration, you can create anything you like. Just have to open the book and write in it. Then there's the glow. That's a sweet little, almost looks like a fairy. And she creates all little glowing lights, like glowworms, that can shed light in a very romantic or friendly, kind way. Then there's the little. and that's a sister to the big. And she shrinks things, so makes them smaller. Then there's the return. There's another card that's called time, and that's linked with this one, and it's in the pile of the dark, so in the other contrasting pile. Then there's the shadow, and you might think, why is the shadow in the light pile? Well, in the dark you can't see shadows, so you need light to be able to see a shadow. And then there's the sweet. That looks like a cotton candy girl. And she's very sweet. So that's that. Then under the sun pile, there's the fire as well. Fire is the active suit of the sun and light. So it's got a more active and a more passive. Yeah, it's not really passive, but this is more dynamic. The fire is more dynamic than the earth suit. So this is the fiery, and in the suit of the fiery there's the arrow, and that's very, let's keep them lined up. Very direct, straight to the point. There's the fight. I'll go through them a little bit quicker because otherwise this will be a very long video. There's power. And it looks like it's not that aggressive, but still strong. There's the shot. The sword, and the sword is enchained in the card, and when you unleash the sword it can do a lot of damage or cutting away. There's the through, and the woman comes through a circle. The thunder, and the twin. And I'll just check what the website has to say about the twin, because I don't know that by heart. The twin. I have been working with these cards, but I didn't get all the cards while working with them. So it's about duplication. They appear to be strong fighters, but it's about duplication. It's turning one into two, of course. So that's the fiery suit. Then there's the earthy suits. Here. And earth is represented like this, like a woman with crystals on her shoulder. And a card that's governed by her is the flowery. Looks very sweet. The Libra, and that's a balance thing. You can see the sun and the moon there. The lock, the loop, and makes an infinity symbol. The maze, the mirror, the sand, and the shield, also in chains. Okay, let's go to the other side, to the lunar cards. And then we go into the dark. The dark is not a negative thing, it's just the absence of light. And while the light card was way more active, this is way more receptive. It's more of a surrendering to your surroundings and dealing with things that are there instead of having to create a world of your own. The dark, in some ways it's opposite to the light, and it has a card, it's called Change, and that's a little animal. It has the Dream. It has the Erase, whereas the light had the Create. This is the Erase. So making things and making things disappear. Here's the Illusion. The Silent. The Sleep. And the Time. And Time and the Return look in opposite directions, as you can see here. Okay. Then there's the active suit of the lunar side, and that's water. Oh, put this here. And water makes bubbles. It's very light, very dynamic sometimes. The cloudy, you can see they all put a Y behind the cards. The freeze, the mist, the rain, the snow, the wave, and the wood. And it's fairly obvious to see why a lot of the cards are under the watery. The wood, I think it's because woods turn green with water, they get nourished and they grow. I thought it would be in the earthy realm, but it's not, apparently. And then you got the windy. Let's look at those. And under the windy, there's the dash. It's very quick movement. The float, they're all about movement somehow. The fly. The jump. The move. And the song. That's not movement yet. You can move someone with a song. The storm. And the voice that creates the song. So those are all the cards. And I already showed these ones, and I'll show them again because now they're flat. They have their own special way of divination, these cards, and I will do a rather simple 4-card reading with these cards just as an example. Then you can see how they work and work together. Okay. So I'll do a 4-card spread. It's called the speed spread. Got it upside down. No. The speed spread, and it tells you to shuffle the cards. So I'm shuffling the cards. and then put them on the table, but not picking the top cards. It makes you count the cards, so I'll just split the deck. And it says shuffle the cards and cut the Clow-Cards. Did that. Making sure they're lying pattern side up. Okay, did that. Count 13 cards from the top of the deck and place the 13th card onto position number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And it goes along the lines of repeating that. So I'll just do that. That's position number 1. Again, because I skipped the card. And I'll do it correctly. Oh my God, I can't even count. This is number 13. Okay, let's put the other cards away and turn them over. I'll just rearrange this just a second. So these are the cards I drawn. I totally forgot to tell you with what intention I did this drawing. It was like I didn't make a video for quite a while, 10 days, and then I was like, I got to do this video. Some people asked about it and I wanted to do it, but somehow I didn't come around doing it. Stagnated, what do you call, procrastinated. That's my middle name somehow. So that's the intention I did the spread with. Okay, so there are 4 positions. The first one is the cause of the situation. This one is the past. This is the current position, and this is the solution or probable outcome. I like that better. So in the first position we have the freeze, and that's the cause of this problem or situation I'm in right now. And the freeze, as the word freezing says, is lowering temperature. Oh, wait a minute. So getting things slowed down, sort of hibernating, getting into winter, and recharging in the position of winter, because in spring all the energies go up and out, and in winter you withdraw and get a little bit more internalized. And that's exactly what I did last weeks. I wanted to get this done right, and I still don't know if I know enough to share, but I was like, gotta do it this time, because otherwise I will procrastinate till eternity. So, the taking things slow. Oh, by the way, this is a water card, these are fire cards, and this is an earth card. So, the water card is enclosed by 2 fire cards, and that's something to think about, because that will probably weaken the water if you're enclosed by fire. But anyway, this is the water card. It freeze, so emotions, kind of withdrawn, closed, slowed down. That's why I'm here right now. Okay. And then in the past, there's the through. I'll get it up close. And the through is a woman passing through an object, literally passing through an object. That's her magical powers, so to say. And the success of passing through an object will determine on how thick the object is and how strong she is. So if you see this as an obstacle or a way to get through something, it's always a question of, do you make it or not? Because perhaps the strength you need isn't in balance with the strength you've got. So this is the passing through an object, and yeah, it's also about changing perspectives. If you've got to change something, the key to change is a sort of shift in perspective, and starting to make choices along the lines of those perspectives. So if you want to go through something, want to make something, you have to go for it, because it will not happen on its own, and you'll have to get a strength, perhaps even technique, to get there. So in the past I was charging and trying to assess whether I was able to make this video. And then we come to the current situation, and that's the thunder. And it's a sort of electric lion. Very dynamic, very energetic, almost unstoppable in some way. And he has very much power, he is strong, and he's very much his own thing. He's very unique. There's nothing like him, and it tells me to stay true to myself, do my thing. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Just do your thing, and those are the Clow-Cards at this moment. It's sort of a unique sense of existing he's got, and if you want to portray that or put yourself out there, you have to be who you are. And then the solution or the outcome is the card of the shield. And there's a shield. Shield, by the way, is in chains because it's one of the two cards that is in chains. The other one's the sword, and that's because they're weapons in themselves. There's also an arrow card, but that's represented as a woman carrying an arrow, not the arrow itself. So that's why, because this is a weapon, a shield is a weapon, this will probably be in chains and only being used when you pick it up. But okay, the meaning of the card. The position was the solution, and it's defense. Protection to maintain harmony. So this is a shielding card. The solution is shielding, making sure there's peace and harmony, and somewhat of a balance or a possibility for making this video in a peaceful and harmonious way. And sometimes you can also see this as friends that will stand by you and shield you from things, And in this instance, I think it's the community that will like anything new with cards, and will cherish that in their own way, or at least I hope that's the case. No, I feel rather shielded and protected in this community, and there's no need for me to fear anything by making a video. So even when I tried to retreat, I did it because I didn't know if I was strong enough to go through this situation. But apparently I'm making it, putting it out there, and feeling shielded and safe to do this. So that's how you would, that's an example of how you would read the Clow-Cards. So, I'll pen up again. So, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, explanation of the cards kind of thingy, and show these cards some love, because I think they really deserve it. And they're lovely cards. They've got a great system behind them. The main info is Japanese, and some of the information is translated, so it's a bit of a struggle to get the meanings or the way to use them clear. But I will link to 2 websites in the down bar, and I think that will get you where you need to go. And I will link the printer studio where I got these cards. So if you want them, you can get them yourselves. And otherwise, there are plenty of other bigger Clow-Cards available on, for instance, Amazon or something like that. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed. See you later. Bye.